Hello, my name is Tim Stewart. I'm Vice President of Finance for Shepherd Residential Care. With me today, I have Edwin Kelly. Edwin is with Specialized IRA Services in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's a beautiful place in the country.
It sure is.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about Shepherd Residential Care and the purpose of our video today. And then I'm going to move over to Edwin, who is going to talk about holding an investment such as Shepherd Residential Care inside a self-directed IRA. Shepherd Residential Care, what do you do with your senior loved ones when they should not be left home alone? In many cases, I know in my particular case, the families rearrange their schedules because they don't want to take mom or dad to that place, that facility where they know it's leading towards the end of their life. They want to stay home, but somebody needs to check in on them quite often, and the families rearrange their lives. When it is finally time, they go kicking and screaming, and when you leave that day, it's almost as bad as the first time you dropped your child off at the daycare center, and they're screaming, and you have to drive away. The guilt sticks with you for a very long time, but it is what's best for them, or is it? At Shepherd Residential Care, we're offering seniors and their families an alternative to institutional assisted living settings. When your senior loved one enters a Shepherd Residential home, they immediately feel at home. All of our care centers are situated in residential neighborhoods. They will reside with 5 or 6 of their peers and a full-time CNA certified caregiver on site. And no more guilt. Today, you have the opportunity to be part of Shepherd Residential Care, even though you may not currently have a senior loved one in need of our services. Shepherd Capital LLC, the parent company of Shepherd Residential Care, is putting together, or has put together, a $1 million private placement memorandum that will allow you to be part of this amazing program while earning a fair return on your investment. If you're not familiar with PPMs, think of it like this. It's like a private stock that you work directly with the firm. You own a little piece of the company. Unlike a stock that's traded on the stock exchange, it's traded through the firm, in this case, Shepherd Residential Care. The PPM will allow the investor who believes in the Shepherd Residential opportunity to be involved without having to set an alarm. To find out more about the Shepherd Residential Care organization, you can go to our website, which is shepherdresidentialcare.com. But today we're really going to talk more about the investment, the private placement memorandum, and how you can be involved. A PPM, like the one being offered by Shepherd Capital LLC, is an investment. It may or may not be the right investment for your financial portfolio. As with any investment, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. One, do I believe in the opportunity, the company, their product, or their services? Number two, do I have money to invest that is currently at a low or no rate of return? If you feel an investment in Shepherd Residential Care through this PPM offered by Shepherd Capital has a place in your portfolio, please reach out to us for a copy of our executive summary and subscription agreement. The information to contact us will be given at the end of this presentation. One day, we will all be the senior loved one in our family's lives, assuming we survive from now until then. An investment in Shepherd Residential Care is an investment in your future as well as mine. We're going to move now to Edwin Kelly. We've talked a little bit about the Shepherd investment opportunity, and we would love to have a conversation with you about how it could fit into your financial portfolio. But Edwin's going to talk about one piece of it and how you can hold it possibly and potentially tax-free. Edwin is with Specialized IRA Services. Edwin, could you tell us just a little bit about Specialized IRA Services and how an investment like this can be held with your firm?
Yeah, thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. So the way that it works is that most people are familiar with or have a plain vanilla, what I call a plain vanilla retirement account, whether it be a previous company's 401k or 403b plan if you are on the public side, or an IRA at a bank or brokerage. What we do is we specialize in what we call truly self-directed retirement accounts, because a plain vanilla account will typically limit you to a few mutual fund options or a stock or bonds, possibly even CDs. But with a truly self-directed IRA, what you have the ability to do is invest in anything that the government allows. So can you invest in those things in a self-directed IRA? You absolutely can. But what it also allows you to do is to invest in things like real estate and private placements and private stock. And that's the benefit of a self-directed IRA. That's what we specialize in. We do not sell investments. We do not offer investment advice. What we do is we put people in a position where they have complete control over their retirement account, and we allow them to invest and make their own investment decisions in anything that the government would allow them to invest in.
Edwin, once they set up a IRA with specialized IRA services for the purchase of Shepherd Residential Care on this private placement memorandum, would they be able to hold other investments with this also?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the nice thing about a self-directed IRA. Like I said, the only difference between a self-directed IRA and a plain vanilla IRA, which if you're watching this now and you have an IRA, that's probably what you have, is that you simply are giving yourself more options. In fact, you're giving yourself all the options in the world so long as the government allows it, because they have very few restrictions. So you can own one investment and sell it and then buy into another investment. You can hold investments long term, but you have the ability to hold whatever investments you choose inside of that account.
Now, I've heard a lot about Roth IRAs, which as long as they hold it for 5 years or more, I believe when they take it out, it's tax-free. Could you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, so there's different types of accounts out there. And most people are familiar with a traditional IRA or a tax-deferred IRA. But there's another type of IRA out there called a Roth IRA. And the real benefit of the Roth IRA is that when you generate, just like a traditional IRA, you make a contribution to that account. And when you invest, and now you don't take a tax deduction on the contribution that you make. But what you do get to do is invest that money, grow it, and not pay taxes as you're in that accumulation stage, or as you're generating income and profits for future use. The magic on the Roth comes in on the back end, and that's where the real tax benefit is received. Because when you turn the magic age of 59 and a half, and that account is open for 5 years, so both requirements need to be met, every single dollar that you distribute to yourself from your account comes out 100% tax-free. No income tax, no capital gains tax, no tax at all. It's the only legal way I know to get out from under the U.S. tax code. And so the Roth IRA, and by the way, all accounts, traditionals, Roths, and otherwise, can be self-directed so long as they're held at a self-directed IRA provider like Specialized IRA Services.
If I had a 401k at a previous job and it's still sitting in that organization's 401k program, do I have the opportunity to roll that into a investment with Shepherd Residential Care through Specialized IRA Services?
Yeah, great question. So let's walk through that process. The answer is yes, that's very possible and easy to do. The process is 3 steps, and I call it, and they're all D's, by the way. They all start with D's, Tim. So the first step is decide. The second one is deposit. The third one is direct. So for someone who wants to make an investment in a PPM, the first step would be decide that you want to make that investment and that you truly want to self-direct your retirement account. That paperwork can be done over the phone or online. It takes all of 5 to 10 minutes, not long at all. And one of our consultants would be happy to help you with that. So you establish your account once you decide to do that, and that's step number 1. Step number 2 is that you would deposit money into that account. One way to deposit money is, Tim, the scenario you just brought up. If you have a previous employer's retirement account out there with money in it, whether it's a 403B, a TSP, or a 401k, or some other type of company-sponsored plan, that money can be moved from where it's at now into a new self-directed IRA. That movement, by the way, when done properly, I always like to qualify that, when done properly, is tax-free, penalty-free. So if you have $100,000 in your account right now, when it comes over, you'd have $100,000 in your new self-directed IRA. Key to make sure it's done properly is to work through your new IRA provider, and we'll make sure that we take care of that for you. The third and final step in the process is to direct. And this is the step in the process that makes this a truly self-directed IRA, because it's in this step that you tell your IRA provider, Specialized IRA Services, what you want to invest your money in. That's the third and final part of this step. And again, we're here to help you. We help you with the documents that would be needed and how to process that. Again, just a few minutes to do that. So by following those 3 simple steps, someone can easily, Tim, move money from an existing retirement account into a self-directed retirement account and make an investment in a PPM or a private stock, those types of things.
I think you missed 1D there. That's distribution at the end of the account.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's everybody's favorite part. That's right.
The last thing I'd like to touch on here is, if I have money with my current employer in a 401k, can I also put money in a self-directed IRA, and does that affect the limits of what I put into my 401k with my employer?
Good question. So a lot of people aren't aware of this, and one of the challenges is with 401k or company-sponsored plans. I'll just make it a little bit broader category. Company-sponsored plans is that if I refer to a plain vanilla IRA as handcuffs. Why? Because in a plain vanilla IRA, they handcuff you into investments that those banks or brokerages, those financial firms make a fee or commission on. And if they can't make a fee or commission on the investment, they're not going to allow you to invest in it with them. Well, if a plain vanilla IRA is handcuffs, what is a company-sponsored plan? I call that a straitjacket. And the reason why I refer to it as a straitjacket is this, is that they typically only offer you somewhere between 5 and 10 mutual fund options. And if you don't like them, you don't have any other choices. So the investments available are extremely restricted. If you say, you know what, I don't like these options, I'm going to move my money that I've accumulated, that I've earned and put in this plan, I'm going to move that someplace else. In most instances, they're going to tell you, you cannot do that. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. The plan writes their own rules, so we have ways of finding out with you if you can, in fact, move your money. But just so you know, most of the time the answer is, if it's a current employer, you're not able to move money out of the plan. So what do you do in that scenario? Well, and I've gotten that question for years and years and years, and here's the answer. The answer is actually pretty simple. We never turn away free money. So if you're covered by a company-sponsored plan and they match, you always, always, always contribute up to the match amount that the employer is going to match on. But what do you do with the additional contribution dollars beyond the match that you're not getting any benefit from the employer on? Those dollars you should now contribute to an IRA. Why? Couple reasons. The first is that you'll have the same 5 or 10 options that you have in that company-sponsored plan. But the reality is you'll have a whole lot more. And if at any point in time you decide you want to transfer that IRA to a different IRA provider, a different company, you have the right to do that. You can do that anytime you choose. So all you're doing by putting dollars in an IRA is giving yourself the same options that you have in that 401k plan. But in fact, what you're also doing is giving yourself a whole lot more in terms of options, freedom, and control. Remember, it's your money, and the more control you have over it, the better off you're going to be.
It's my turn to put you on the spot a little bit here. You had the opportunity to learn a little bit about Shepherd Residential Care. You've seen our executive summary, and I believe you've gotten the private placement memorandum, or at least it's on the way to you. Is this an investment that you would like to hold inside an IRA?
Yeah, so, the interesting thing about what I read is that this is, and these are my own words here, so Tim, you might refer to it differently, but I view this as a real estate investment or a real estate play. The reason why is that you're able to take a single family home and create a completely different type of use in terms of just one family living there, providing housing for the elderly who want a higher level of care. They want to live someplace that's just like home. In fact, it's not just like home, it is home, because it is a home. It's not a facility. And the reality is that people are willing to pay a premium to live with dignity and respect in an environment like that. So it seems to me an investment strategy that has an underlying asset, like a specific piece of real estate, that has a cash flow strategy, like rents, and has a unique selling proposition, like caring for the elderly, few people in the house with a caregiver. That is an investment that can do and would meet those requirements that I said earlier. What do people want from self-directing? Why are they moving into self-directed retirement accounts? Because they're trying to diversify away from the uncertainty and unpredictability of the stock market and move into something that is more consistent, predictable, and can be more stable. And therefore, you're looking for a cash flow strategy to make that happen. And based on what I've read, that seems to meet that requirement.
Edwin, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add as we go into closing here?
Yeah, one of the things I always like to share with people is remember that this is your money, it's your future. Do it your way.
It sounds a little bit like Frank Sinatra there. Could you sing that for us?
You know what? Maybe next time.
If you'd like to find out more, please contact us. My name is Tim Stewart. My email is tim@shepherdresidentialcare.com. Shepherd is SHEPHERD, shepherdresidentialcare.com. My phone number is area code 815-403-8870. Thank you so much for taking the time to be part of our program. Edwin, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being part of such a great program as Specialized IRA Services.
Thank you, Tim.
Until next time, good luck, God bless, safe travels.